sense, when the band was taken off, your hand had a blister the size of the walnut or bigger, you were guilty. If it was smaller than the size of the walnut, you were innocent. So that was God interceding to say that you were innocent or guilty. The clergy not quite so rigorous. They had to go to the church and recite the Lord's Prayer while eating bread. If they choked, they were guilty. If they didn't, they were innocent. So Henry the King said, this isn't fair. Let's have it the same for everyone. He was under the impression his friend Thomas, who he'd made Archbishop of Canterbury, so he'd be like a puppet. He'd be able to bend to his will. He could have thought that he'd agree. And the moment he put on those robes of God, became a man of the cloth, he became a bit like that poet, John Donne, a very, very different type of person. He wanted to keep the status quo. So that's when Henry uttered the famous words in his court in France, "Will no one rid me of this meddlesome priest, this turbulent priest, this troublesome priest?" It's a translation from the French. And four Norman knights thought, oh, let's be proactive, let's get on the right side of the king. So they rode over to the cathedral. They found Thomas Becket praying at the altar, and they chopped his head off. And it was a complete scandal. You couldn't go around killing archbishops of Canterbury, murdering archbishops in churches. And so it was just 2 years later, he was made a saint. Normally you have to wait hundreds of years to become a saint in the Catholic Church, and as a sign of penance, because Henry was absolutely devastated. He went down that same year, 2 years after the murder of Thomas Becket, stripped down naked to the waist, put on a very uncomfortable hair shirt, crawling with sort of weevils and maggots, and he crawled on his hands and knees up the aisle of Canterbury Cathedral while being whipped with silver birch by all the monks at the time. So it must have been quite an odd sight to see the King of England crawling up like Gollum up the aisle of Canterbury Cathedral. So there you go, I digress a bit there, but Henry II, he's the man that clamped that in stone. And it was our friend George IV who appropriated so much of the royal collection that then added the extra story there. Today, that is used to house not only the archives of the royal family, so all the papers pertaining to the royal family going back over almost 1,000 years of English and British history, kept there, as well as the royal photographic collection as well. Okay, let's show you the lower ward. I'm going to show you where the change in the guard's going to be taking place.